The Anti-Defamation League, or ADL, stands as a prominent figure in the fight against hate and discrimination. Founded in 1913, its roots run deep in American history. The ADL emerged during a time of widespread prejudice, particularly against Jewish communities. Over the decades, the ADL expanded its reach to address various forms of bigotry, becoming a vocal advocate against racism, homophobia, and other forms of intolerance. It has provided education, resources, and legal support to marginalized communities. The ADL's efforts have earned it a place of respect in the public eye, often seen as a guardian of civil liberties. Its voice carries weight in policy discussions and public discourse. The ADL has a long history of combating anti-Semitism in the United States, tracking hate crimes, monitoring extremist groups, and challenging discriminatory practices. The ADL played a pivotal role in the civil rights movement, working alongside other organizations to dismantle segregation and promote equality. The ADL's commitment to social justice extended beyond the Jewish community, recognizing the interconnectedness of all forms of oppression. It conducts anti-bias training, promotes interfaith dialogue, and advocates for inclusive policies. The organization's work has helped to foster greater understanding and tolerance in society. However, in recent years, the ADL has faced growing scrutiny. Critics allege that the organization has strayed from its core mission, prioritizing the interests of Israel over its commitment to civil rights. Investigative journalist James Bamford has accused the organization of spying on American citizens and organizations. The organization has denied any wrongdoing, but the allegations have cast a shadow over its reputation. The ADL's purported transformation from a civil rights organization to an alleged intelligence apparatus is perplexing.
James Bamford, an investigative journalist, asserts that the ADL has been engaged in covert surveillance. He claims the organization has been systematically gathering information on American citizens and organizations critical of Israel.
Bamford's accusations, if proven true, paint a disturbing picture of an organization that has abandoned its core principles. A tangled web of allegiances, the ADL Israel and apartheid South Africa. Central to the allegations against the ADL is its alleged close relationship with Israel.
Critics contend that the organization's loyalty to Israel has led it down a path of morally questionable actions.
This alleged exchange of information raises serious concerns about foreign interference in domestic affairs.
Adding complexity is the ADL's alleged ties to apartheid South Africa, suggesting a troubling alliance opposed to its stated commitment to fighting racism.
From civil rights to covert ops, the ADL's transformation under scrutiny. The accusations of espionage against the ADL have sparked widespread debate.
The ADL's actions, if true, represent a profound betrayal of public trust. The ADL has vehemently denied any involvement in espionage, maintaining its mission to combat hate and discrimination.
However, the allegations have cast a long shadow, forcing a re-evaluation of its role and influence. Silencing dissent, the ADL's targeting of pro-Palestinian activists.
Critics argue that the ADL has sought to silence legitimate criticism of Israeli policies.
Bamford points to instances where the ADL has labeled individuals and organizations critical of Israel as anti-Semitic.
The ADL's alleged tactics have drawn comparisons to those employed by authoritarian regimes.
The organization's actions, if true, represent a dangerous erosion of democratic principles.
Infiltrating the opposition, the ADL's alleged surveillance of anti-apartheid groups. My investigation uncovered evidence suggesting the ADL monitored groups opposed to South Africa's apartheid regime. This revelation, if true, calls into question its commitment to fighting racism. According to my findings, the ADL infiltrated anti-apartheid groups to gather intelligence. This information was allegedly shared with Israeli and South African authorities, exposing a troubling double standard. Beyond borders, the global reach of the ADL's alleged intelligence operations, my investigation suggests the ADL's reach extended to countries like Lebanon, Syria, and Jordan. The ADL allegedly cultivated a network of informants within these countries. These actions suggest a deliberate effort to influence events in the Middle East, potentially undermining diplomatic efforts.
A chilling effect. The impact of the ADL's alleged actions on free speech and dissent. The ADL's alleged espionage activities have had a chilling effect on free speech, particularly regarding criticism of Israel. Bamford argues that the ADL's tactics have created a dangerous false equivalency between criticism of Israel and anti-Semitism. The fear of being branded as anti-Semitic has led many to self-censor. The ADL's alleged actions, if true, represent a dangerous departure from democratic principles.
The price of dissent individuals and organizations caught in the ADL's crosshairs.
The ADL's alleged espionage activities have had real-world consequences. My investigation highlights cases where individuals were subjected to surveillance and harassment. One case involved a professor who faced a relentless campaign of intimidation after being labeled an anti-Semite.
The ADL's alleged tactics have had a devastating impact on the lives and careers of those who challenge the Israeli narrative. Mirroring the intelligence apparatus, the ADL's alleged tactics and the shadow of the NSA.
The ADL's alleged espionage activities bear striking similarities to methods employed by the NSA. The ADL, like the NSA, appears to have engaged in widespread surveillance.
This alleged surveillance relied on human intelligence, electronic eavesdropping, and infiltration.
The ADL's alleged adoption of intelligence agency tactics raises profound questions about its methods and motives. Information as a weapon. The ADL's alleged use of disinformation and smear campaigns.
The ADL's alleged intelligence activities went beyond information gathering. It also stands accused of utilizing information as a weapon.
According to Bamford, the ADL allegedly planted false information about individuals critical of Israel. These alleged smear campaigns were designed to damage reputations and undermine credibility.
The ADL's alleged use of disinformation represents a dangerous perversion of its stated mission. A culture of secrecy, the ADL's opaque practices and lack of accountability.
The ADL has consistently resisted calls for transparency, operating with an opaqueness more befitting of a clandestine intelligence agency.
The organization's internal operations, funding sources, and decision-making processes remain shrouded in secrecy. The ADL's resistance to accountability raises serious concerns about its commitment to ethical conduct.
A genuine civil rights organization should welcome scrutiny and embrace transparency.
The watchdog and the watched a crisis of credibility for the ADL. The allegations of espionage have plunged the ADL into a profound crisis of credibility.
The organization, once regarded as a defender of civil rights, now finds its reputation tarnished.
The ADL has steadfastly denied any wrongdoing, dismissing the accusations as baseless. The future of the ADL and its legacy as a civil rights organization hangs in the balance. Internal discord cracks appear in the ADL's facade. The ADL, facing mounting external scrutiny over its alleged espionage activities, has also begun to experience internal turmoil as cracks appear in its once unified facade.
The organization, known for presenting a united front, now grapples with dissent from within its own ranks, as voices of concern and opposition to its alleged tactics grow louder. Whispers of discontent, once confined to hushed conversations in the corridors of the ADL's headquarters, have begun to spill into the public sphere.
Current and former employees, bound by confidentiality agreements and fearful of professional repercussions, have started to anonymously share their concerns with journalists and researchers, providing a glimpse into the growing unease within the organization.
These internal divisions, though long simmering beneath the surface, have been exacerbated by the allegations of espionage and the ADL's response to them. Many within the organization, particularly those drawn to the ADL's stated mission of combating hate and discrimination, find themselves deeply troubled by the accusations and the organization's seeming unwillingness to address them transparently.
The ADL's internal discord underscores the broader crisis facing the organization as it struggles to reconcile its public mission with the troubling allegations against it. Section 2. Exodus of Conscience. Staffers break ranks, exposing internal conflicts. The ADL's internal struggles have escalated beyond mere whispers of discontent, culminating in a steady exodus of staff members disillusioned by the organization's direction and troubled by its alleged tactics.
These individuals, many of whom joined the ADL with a deep commitment to social justice, have made the difficult decision to break ranks, speaking out publicly about their concerns, even at the risk of professional ostracism. One former ADL staffer, speaking on condition of anonymity, described a growing sense of disillusionment within the organization, stating that the ADL's focus had shifted away from its core mission of combating anti-Semitism and towards what they perceived as an unquestioning defense of Israeli policies, regardless of their impact on Palestinian rights.
These resignations, though troubling in their own right, represent a potential turning point in the ADL's trajectory. The willingness of former employees to speak out, despite the risks involved, signals a growing wave of dissatisfaction within the organization and a potential willingness to challenge its leadership and direction. Jonathan Greenblatt and the ADL's controversial path. At the heart of the ADL's crisis lies its CEO, Jonathan Greenblatt.
Greenblatt, who took over in 2015, has been polarizing, praised for modernizing the ADL, but criticized for partisan leanings. His meeting with Trump and criticism of progressive politicians have sparked controversy.
Critics say he has shifted the ADL's mission, while supporters see him as a bold leader. Section 4. Reclaiming the mission calls for reform and a return to core values. The ADL stands at a critical juncture in its history.
Allegations of espionage and growing criticism demand transparency and accountability. A movement calls for a return to combating hate, prejudice, and discrimination. The path forward for the ADL remains uncertain. The choice the ADL makes will determine its legacy.
A toxic influence, the ADL, big tech, and the censorship debate. The ADL's influence extends far beyond the halls of government, reaching into the digital sphere.
The organization has cultivated close ties with big tech, shaping online discourse to combat hate speech and extremism.
However, this alliance raises concerns about censorship and the suppression of dissenting voices.
Critics argue that the ADL's influence has contributed to a climate of censorship, disproportionately targeting dissenting voices. The ADL's reach into law enforcement and government. The ADL's influence extends deep into law enforcement and government institutions.
For decades, the ADL has provided training programs and resources on hate crimes and extremism.
Critics argue these partnerships blur the lines between a private organization and law enforcement.
The ADL's training programs have come under scrutiny. Critics say they focus too much on Muslim and Arab communities, ignoring right-wing extremism.
The ADL's ties to law enforcement raise concerns about bias in hate crime investigations. A reckoning for civil liberties, the ADL's legacy, and the future of free speech. The ADL's alleged espionage activities and its role in shaping acceptable discourse have sparked a debate about balancing hate speech and civil liberties.
Once a champion of free speech, the ADL now faces criticism over its tactics and impact on civil liberties.
Critics argue that the ADL's methods, including surveillance and disinformation, erode civil liberties. They contend that combating hate speech has often silenced dissenting voices.
The ADL's legacy now hangs in the balance. The organization must choose between denial and transparency, impacting the future of free speech. A legacy in question, the ADL at a crossroads. The Anti-Defamation League, an organization with a storied history of combating hate and discrimination, stands at a pivotal crossroads. Founded over a century ago to protect Jewish communities from anti-Semitism, the ADL earned a reputation as a staunch defender of civil rights, its voice often resonating with moral clarity and unwavering commitment to justice. However, the allegations of espionage, the close ties to powerful institutions, and the internal dissent have cast a long shadow over the ADL's legacy, forcing a reassessment of its role and impact on society. The ADL's journey from a respected civil rights organization to a lightning rod for controversy underscores the complexities of navigating a world grappling with rising polarization, technological advancements, and evolving notions of free speech. The organization's efforts to combat hate and discrimination, while undoubtedly well-intentioned, appear to have, at times, veered into treacherous territory, blurring the lines between advocacy, surveillance, and censorship. The ADL's current predicament serves as a cautionary tale about the seductive nature of power and the ease with which even the most well-intentioned organizations can stray from their founding principles, charting a new course towards transparency, accountability, and a reclaimed mission. The path forward for the ADL remains uncertain, fraught with challenges and opportunities. Embracing transparency and accountability is crucial. This requires acknowledging past mistakes and engaging in genuine dialogue. A renewed ADL could reclaim its place as a leading voice for justice. The path the ADL chooses will impact the broader fight for social justice.